again. Today, as of today's date, it is January the 22nd of 2021, and I mean to call them rules, tips, I'm sorry, they're not rules, of dealing with people on the autism spectrum and for autistic patients themselves. So this one, 20 of my tip list that I've been going over, but I haven't told you guys that it was my tip list from my very first video until back in 2017 until now, and I'm not gonna lie, I've not been very consistent with it, and I need to be better consistent with it. Number 19 and 20 of my tip list. Person ahead of time, how to handle the different types of emergencies that will occur from time to time. I'm going to say this is from somebody that's on the high functioning end of autism. One of the most important things that I want people to learn in the way of teaching them emergency skills, number one, basic car care. Because you don't want to be out on the road and not know what to do if your car tears up. You want to know how to jump start your car if your battery is dead. And you want to know how to fix a flat tire if you encounter one. Because if you're going to be driving, it doesn't matter who you are, what type of car you've got, or how well you take care of it, you're going to have car trouble from time to time. Everybody's going to have car trouble. It's just part of life. It's really, to be honest, if you're on the high functioning end and like before you turn 16, your parents need to, or whoever, need to educate you guys on basic car maintenance. Boy or a girl. Because if you don't know how to handle that type of emergency, it can financial crisis too. So my next tip I want to say is learn basic first aid skills. And more than just calling 911. And you'll be able to stick up in an emergency. This doesn't really have anything to do with it, but I was at Disney World back in December of 2018 with my aunt and uncle and their granddaughter. That was her Christmas present from them. And my aunt's friend and her daughter and grandchildren and her 2 boys. So I'm friends with my aunt's friend's daughter that went with us. So one night we were at the Magic Kingdom, and well, we were on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and it got stuck for some reason, and our boat kept falling backward, and all this steam just kept going up. Anyway, my friend ends up having an asthma attack. So I didn't know what to do, but I wanted to help her, and I knew that it needed it. And she forgot her asthma inhaler at the hotel. So what I did was, and after 45 minutes or so of us waiting, was I stood up and I yelled. Yes, I yelled. It was socially inappropriate, but it would have been considered socially inappropriate at the time. But it was because I was concerned, and I could see that she was having an asthma attack. So we had no nurses on board, but another lady on board was in the boat behind us. She gave us her inhaler. That helped a lot. And then I just kept yelling and yelling. I said, she's having an asthma attack. And I said, well, we need paramedics here immediately. So they got some of Disney's paramedics, and they got us out of the boat immediately. And she just was in the ambulance, and they were trying to work on her and stuff. But it was really scary, and emergencies like that are going to happen. And so that's why you need to know basic first aid, or know when to stick up for yourself or your loved one when an emergency happens, because they're going to happen. On the spectrum, or your child's on the spectrum, or your spouse, you need to teach them how to handle all of their medical problems, and to be able to handle first aid for someone else, basic stuff for when someone else is having an emergency. Number 20, when teaching them skills or helping them with homework, they can appear as if they're not listening or being just plain lazy. They may not understand what is being told. If this happens, remember that all of this is related to sensory stuff in their brain, and they don't think the way that a normal person does. I've been there lots of times. And plus, number 2, I think fatigue is really important. It's common with kids on the spectrum, because at times, I know I was just trying to do homework at times, and my English teacher one year, she was helping me with my history homework, and I was just feeling so just off the bat that I just feeling so like fatigued and tired that I couldn't get it done. And she interpreted that as being lazy. I have been told, like, whenever somebody was trying to teach me a skill, sometimes, well, a lot of times, they would get frustrated with me if it looked like I wasn't listening. And then that, in turn, would turn on a meltdown. It still does. What you need to do, if you're trying to teach them a skill, is just be patient with them. Different things, but they don't show it in the way a normal person does. That's another case, so. Okay, this is all that I can think of for right now, and in another video, I'm going to read my list of tips that I wrote back in 2017, which I should have labeled on my videos as tips instead of whatever. Well, alright. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.